Welcome back. So, for some people, this period is like my neighbors who are Muslims. It's time to go and greet them.
Absolutely.
Because
and you're listening
Ram and
for bleating of rams in the next one. What's happening
all
here?
over the place. So we're going to be looking at that. But beyond that, Eid al-Adha, also called the Festival of the Sacrifice, is the second of two Islamic holidays celebrated worldwide each year, and it is considered the holier of the two. It's a time to honor the willingness of Ibrahim to sacrifice his son as an act of obedience to God's command. The federal government has declared Monday and Tuesday as public holidays, and so you have no excuse to say, I'm going to work, except for some of us.
Yes, public holiday, less journalists.
And celebrate, with the Muslim faithful. So we have in the studio this morning, those who will be telling us more about the significance of this festival. We have Qasim Adam. He is from the Ahmadiyya Muslim Jamaat, Nigeria, and is also an editor with the Truth newspaper. Thank you so much for coming on. We also have Nasir Onibon. He is a national missioner with NASFAT. Good to have you here this morning.
It's my pleasure.
And the chairman of Lagos NUJ, Qasim Akinreti. We're happy to have you this morning.
It's nice being
here. So
here.
let me go to the national missioner. When we talk of Eid El Kabir, the mind races to the ram. Yeah. And I know it is more than that. Yeah. So let's start with you. Tell us more about these festivals.
Thank you very much, viewers at home and the producer. Eid al-Adha, by the name, is a festival of sacrifice. And you see the word sacrifice here. Beyond the physical or symbolic sacrifice, there's that sacrifice from the heart in obedience to Almighty God. So it is not necessarily the ram there, but the God consciousness, following his commandments. That's what it's all about. And that is why God has told us somewhere in the Quran that the blood, neither the blood nor the meat comes to Allah, but the fear of God, the consciousness of God in you is what he needs. That he has commanded you to do this and you obey it. And that's what Allah needs.
Mr. Adam, in fact, let me go to that name. I said I was going to Qasim Adam. Okay, so Adam, you think of the Bible. Is there a relationship there?
Of course.
Okay.
It just depends on the language, the use of language. Maybe in the north, some people say Adam, or it's the same Adam. In English, in the Western world, it's Adam. In Japan, in the Yoruba side of this world, it's Adamo. Also Adamo, so it's all the same thing.
Okay,
depends
Adamo
on language.
Is the same thing as
it's same thing, yeah, the same
Adamo.
thing. Yeah,
Okay.
It's same thing.
Okay, so he has talked about sacrifice and the fear of Allah. How much of that do you see these days? Not just in the Muslim brothers and sisters, generally in our nation.
Actually, the Feast of Sacrifice, Eid al-Adha, is highly symbolic. Because people think of rams all the time when we talk about Eid al-Adha. But the major thing about it, the sacrifice part, is that you are sacrificing for God, you are sacrificing for humanity. Let's take the humanity part. When you kill the ram, the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said you should divide it into three parts. One, for your family. Two, the second one for your neighbor. And the third part for the needy or the poor. So it shows that the Eid al-Adha is not just killing a ram and eating it alone. It's about humanity first. Apart from God first, it's also about humanity. Do the right thing, feed your neighbor, feed the needy, so that the society can gel, can be in peace. So that your neighbor will not say, oh, It's just the family alone eating the ram. I'm not eating. Let me go and raid that house. Let me go and, disturb them. Let me go and steal their ram. So you are uniting humanity by making the sacrifice. Right. So, and that extends to the political aspect of life, the social aspect of life, the educational aspect of life. If you believe in Eid al-Adha, you will not kill your neighbor. You won't terrorize him. You won't terrorize the community. You won't disturb anybody that's not even of your own religion. You will live in peace. Love for all, hatred for none. That's what Eid al-Adha is about.
All right, let me go to Mr. Akosima-Kiriti. Okay, so he's talked about how the Prophet has asked the Muslims to divide the ram. But you hear conversations around, these goats does not enter Ilya. I don't know how best to put that in English. It's not worthy of the commemoration. Yeah. All right, and then that speaks to the economic aspect of things. So if you can afford a ram, what is the next affordable thing you can do such that you can then share? If it's not a ram, what could it be? Could it be a goat? Because I was privy to an argument the other day. Could it be chicken, duck, or whatever it is? Someone saw a goat and said, this goat, I can still afford this one. Yes. And then the other guy said, this one doesn't entirely out.
Because it's not big.
Okay, so let me help you put it in Yoruba.
All right, so.
Yeah, I think the symbol, first of all, Eid Mubarak to viewers at home and to all Muslims all over the world in advance, because Eid al-Adha is a culmination of the Arafat Day, to give thanks to Almighty God that yes, we are able to see the end of, we are here, the Arafat will pray to God and he will come back, and we are all joyous. And more importantly, to also thank God that if it had been the first son that every Muslim will be killing, how will you feel? And so you need to be grateful to God. So so once we have taking note of that, now killing any choice ram or cow on it doesn't really exist as such. If the symbolism is to be well understood, you know that you have a faith to keep. In keeping that faith, you decided to do things that God has said you should do. And that is why even it's not even compulsory. If you cannot afford to kill a ram, it's not compulsory. And every
so
other...
you don't have to go into debt.
Okay, so
Islam is a living religion.
All right, so it's not compulsory to kill a ram.
Absolutely. If
What's
you cannot afford
next affordable thing?
The best thing that, first, once you keep your faith, that I believe in God for what God has done for me, then you believe that next year God should provide for me. I will do the same. I will also be willing to, kill a ram or kill a goat or even kill a chicken. It's just simple. That God said in one of the prices of Holy Prophet, he said that even whoever kills any of those things, that ram, goat, or cow, without even uttering the name of Allah, is not part of us. So what is important is that once you are even going to give anything, I will say, Bismillah, Allah Akbar. It's important. That's why the distinction between halal meat and those that are not halal.
What does declaring that mean? What is the impact? What's the import?
It's submission. It's submission to the will of Allah. It's just as simple as that. Now here I am, I've submitted to what God has said. Because if you look at what Prophet Ibrahim would have gone through, he would have been slaughtered. But God instead gave a ram, and symbolic of, yes, you have been tested in faith, and you have passed. And so to the whole world, this is what I've given to you. So when at that time comes, you are going to kill a ram instead of sacrificing your first son. That itself speaks volume for every Muslim.
Correct.
That is why all over the world you will see that things have also even changed. It's not even, people are not even killing a ram physically in some part of the world. In Europe and America, you can't go there and just killing a ram in the street. No. You go to the abattoir, it's killed, and then you pay for it, and then they bring it back, to you, and then it is also distributed. So the needy and some countries that are, either in farming or just like in Jordan, what do you kill ram in Jordan now? What they do because, you know, Jordan, Syria is in conflict, and majority of refugees are moving to Jordan. So when you package that meal, then you send it to all those areas for people, you know, for their respective needs. And that is symbolism of Islam.
So from
Humanity.
From tomorrow, I guess,
Yeah.
Monday,
Yeah.
you know, Muslim faithful will go for prayers, the Eid prayers, and but we'll still find that even with all of these religious activities that we have in the country, oneness still seems to be a bit far away from us. Why?
Yeah,
And
thank
how
you.
can we bridge this gap?
Yeah, thank you very much. I think it first should start from the religious leaders. Let us inculcate this God consciousness. If you look at it all over the world, God is one. The Christian will refer to it as one. Then the Muslim claim is one. Okay, so if God is one, His way is one. Okay, and we all look forward to Him. Now, if that is the case, it should start from the religious men, the religious leaders, whether in the mosque or in the church. Okay, you'll find out that, yes, as you have said, in Nigeria, we found more of religious festivals, activities, and what have you, but it has not translated into oneness, saying we see humanity as one. Okay, but it is there embedded in the Quran that when Allah fashioned Adam, He said He breathed in him part of His spirit. He said, وَإِذَا سَوَّيْنَاهُ وَنَفَخْنَا فِيهِ مِنْ رُوحِي فَقَعُوا لَهُ سَاجِدِينَ. When I fashioned him, I breathed in him part of my spirit. Because it is that spirit that God has breathed in Adam that makes him a human being. And it is from Adam all of us have come from. Whether you are a Christian, you are a Muslim, you are a Judaist, you are this or that. That same spirit, when it goes away from any individual, then it doesn't exist again. So if we understand that spirit, so the first thing is, that means God exists in everybody. Like the Bible will tell us that God created man in His own image. What it's saying is that God exists in everybody. So everybody is a symbol of God. Is a creature of God. So if we see it from that angle, we know, okay, we need to put smiles in the faces of people, irrespective of religion, the race, the language, or the color. So if we have that at the back of our mind, then you don't need to go further to look at why do you put smile in the face of this person. Okay, because that is what God is all about. And that is why you cannot offend God directly. When you say somebody is a sinner, if he commits sin, it is just like he misbehaves to the other person. Then he misbehaves to God. Did you get my analogy here? If you maltreat the other person, then we say you are a sinner. And if you say somebody is a sinner, that means he has done what God does not want him to do. So he offends God indirectly because he offends a human being. He offends God.
All right, so this sermon has remained the same. I mean, ever since I was a boy, I hear this announcement year in, year out, releases from government, releases from imams. It comes and the message is the same. Now, according to him, we have the Spirit of God in us. Where is the breakdown? If we have the Spirit of God, we should act like Him.
Yeah.
But it doesn't seem that year on year there is improvement, not just in Nigeria, all over the world. We see killings. Yeah. People just get hold of guns and kill other people. At what point is a disconnect from that spirit, such that people then act in ways that are reprobate, if I can use that word?
Yeah.
And I address that to you, Mr. Adam.
Thank you very much. It's a factor of a lot of problems. A lot of problems. It's just that the Commodore, having about more than 80 viruses or bacteria in its tongue. So, you see, it's a whole lot of baggage of problems. One, we need inner revolution. Inner revolution. In other words, you need to assess yourself privately. Are you doing the right thing? A verse of the Quran says that إِنَّ الَّذِينَ يَخْشَوْنَ رَبَّهُمْ بِالْغَيْبِ لَهُمْ مَغْفِرَةٌ وَأَجْرٌ كَبِيرٌ. As for those who fear the Lord in secret, for them is a great reward, forgiveness and a great reward. In other words, assess yourself privately. What you are doing, is it helping the nation? Is it helping your family? Is it helping the community? That's part one. Part two falls on the sides of the larger community, the government. What is the government doing to make peace between man, the populace, and the larger society, individuals? All the facilities, the things that people need. Do they have electricity to sleep at night? They wake up, or mosquitoes wake them up? They are frustrated. They don't enjoy their sleep. They don't have good food. The housing situation is so stuffy. They cannot sleep well. They cannot pay. They don't have good roads to go to farm or to even go to work. They come back home frustrated. They, vent the anger on the family members. These are the things that we need to put in context. And it actually is a whole lot of things. Corruption is part of the factor. The finance that's supposed to be used for the populace, is the government using it? That's one part. Another part is the part of the religious leaders, just as my brother here said. What's the religious leaders, what are they telling the people? Is it the right ideology? Are they preaching the right thing? For example, a religious leader that preaches that somebody should kill another person, either a Muslim should kill a Christian or a Christian should kill a Muslim, is out of the way. There's nowhere in the Quran or in the Bible that says that, oh, you Christians or Muslims, go and start killing other people. In fact, there's a verse of the Quran that says that if you kill one person, it's like you have killed the whole world. I'm sure a similar verse is also in the Bible.
All right, if you then say that, we're just trying to seek understanding. We'll take a short break now.
We need to take them.
And I'll ask you a question.
Okay, thank you.
Join us again. All right, in a day or two, it will be time to celebrate the Eid El Kabir, and we have three gentlemen in the house. They are religious scholars, they are Islamic scholars, and we've had a fantastic conversation with them so far. So I was going to ask you a question before we went on break. There's a description here that says all able-bodied adults of the Islamic faith are expected to complete Hajj at least once in their lifetimes. So I'm going to ask you two things. First, why that clause able-bodied? And then what happens to people who are unable to make that travel because of economic reasons?
You see, Hajj involves a lot of stress. You know, if you're a sojourner, if you're a traveler, you know what I mean by that. Before you pick your baggage, your emotional disconnection with your family, financial preparation, and then the physical aspect where you have to move from one place to the other, and then you may be pushed around, millions of people. So it will be very, very difficult for a person that is not physically able to really move around millions of pilgrims. That's one point.
I see.
Another point is that you can also perform Hajj by proxy. It's not compulsory for the somebody that is not physically fit, to go for Hajj.
So how do you Hajj by
Very good.
proxy?
I've never heard.
You do it. It's also the sunnah. When somebody went to the Prophet that, oh, my mother is so old, she couldn't do the Hajj. Can I do it on her behalf? The Prophet said yes.
Oh.
So if somebody is physically unable to do it, so somebody will, but he has to have the intention
So my
that
question
I'm doing
is,
this Hajj. Not for myself, but for this
I'm
person.
going to be praying my mother's prayers there. Am I going to pray?
You're praying for your mother? Yeah, yeah. It's not good to help your mother.
No, I
Okay,
understand. I
okay.
understand. I'm just saying, okay, so if I go on that Hajj
Yeah.
for her,
Yeah.
that means it's her prayers I'll be saying,
Exactly.
or the prayers for me?
You can also say your prayer for yourself as
Okay.
well. But the intention is for her
That's
to
right.
do the Hajj.
Double
So the
Hajj.
reward.
Hajj.
Yes, you also you have a reward.
Yes, I think the root issue here is about intention. Somebody can actually get reward of performing Hajj without going. Why? Because he doesn't have the economic capability or physical capacity to do that. But he has the intention that, oh, if Allah provides for me, I'm going to perform Hajj. And throughout his lifetime or her lifetime, he or she doesn't have this capacity to do that. Okay. It is very much likely that he is rewarded because he has the intention he wants to do. Because it's a ritual. So now let me also hint that Almighty God does not put on us a burden that is greater than us. He says in a verse, لِيُنْفِقُوا ذُو ذَاتٍ مِنْ ذَاتِهِ. Let everybody spend of what I have provided for him. If you have in abundance, spend. If you don't have, spend the little you have. And at the end of that verse, he said, I have not placed a burden on people. But, so he wouldn't ask you for what you don't have.
Can't afford.
You cannot afford.
Okay,
So the intention is important. And
Mr. Keriti, there's been a question that's been going around in my mind. And so he started by saying the ram that is killed is divided into three parts.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm talking about this ram now, just so that you know I enjoy it. So, the family,
Yes.
the neighbor, and those who don't have.
Yes, absolutely.
I have seen in the past, and perhaps recently too, where somebody will kill the ram and get enough salt.
Yeah.
You know, eroni your thing. And keep, as in keep and keep.
Yes.
Is that also right?
No. It's not right. We stated it right away. 3 people are entitled to the ram they have killed. Don't forget we said Allah says that he doesn't need the blood. Not the ram.
Yeah.
But what it is your piety, your faith, that your submission to him. And then you want to adhere to all the rules. Right. If you eat out of it, that's fine. If you give to the people, if you give to either your neighbor or to the needy, that's also fine. Because in the Sunnah of Holy Prophet said, look at your neighbor, few meters. Are they happy with you? It's important. And then the larger community, how did you look at you? So for you now clean a ram and you now decide to keep it in your house and start eating one after the other, keep on. No, it's not acceptable in Islam. You see, understanding Islam and know what it is, that's the essence of why we are here, to let that people know that in Islam, wherever you do everything in terms of, everything is being moderated. And you must do with the intention of your neighbor, of the next person who has not had the opportunity that you have had. And that's why you must be extremely, every time you have to be grateful to God for what he has done for you. So those days are gone, that people, the knowledge, people do not have the knowledge of how you actually do share this ram. Yeah, they could do that. However, there are some people who have in excess that they can keep somewhere. But not to the extent, it's even injurious in terms of health.
Yes.
To keep all those for days,
yes.
as a health implication, you're a health correspondent. I mean, you know the implications. And so that's what we want. That look, divide that portion of ram into 3, and it goes round.
Keep the one that you can actually consume.
In fact, you shouldn't spend more than 3 days in the house.
You shouldn't spend more than 3 days.
You
Yes.
shouldn't spend more than
3 days. You should dispose of it.
If you cannot even kill on that particular day, you can still kill the next day. Go and kill the ram the next day. Islam has made life so easy and simple for us. And that's even goes to question that if you don't have at all you need to do is just to keep your faith and pray to God that I'm even alive. is enough to witness, the day. I'm grateful to God. So next year, God, I'm praying and hoping that I will be able to also to kill a ram. And that is why, some of these things are even done in cooperatives. And that's one thing that we also need to learn. You cannot come together, for example, to kill a cow. 3 or 4 people can come together to kill a cow. What's important is the intention that you are making. Yes, I also want to do this for the sake of Almighty Allah, not more. It's a very, very important. So don't go into debt because you want to kill a ram. And don't start being too agonizing in the home. Don't let your family suffer because you need to kill a ram for that single day. No.
And you can also start keeping the money for the ram.
Right. There are so many options today. There are groups that you start keeping your money in the bank. Right from after this Ileya festival now, you can start saving some money, 5,000, 10,000, until it gets to, it's almost a year, because the Hijjah is at the end of the Islamic year that usher in a new year. So you have a complete year. So you plan ahead so that you can achieve this. And you can also do, there's so many things we are doing. There's the local government in Lagos, I understand, is also selling ram at a very, very cheaper rate.
So you just find where you
just find, that's where you can plug in.
Okay, Mr. Onibo, talked a lot about, people imbibing, this tenet of this Eid El Kabir in terms of love for one another, humility, peace, and sacrifice.
Yeah.
And Mr. Adam also talked about, government doing its bit.
Yes.
I want you to touch more on that too, because we want peace in Nigeria.
Yes.
I'm sure everybody will want peace.
Absolutely.
So in terms of what the government can do more in that area.
No, it's not talking about everyone. We are all government. It's just what we just say, but we are all part and parcel of the government. And every one of us.
So he's talked about that part.
Yes.
I want those in authority.
No, they should know that they need to care for people. It's a feast of sacrifice. What kind of sacrifice is the government also making to his own people in terms of delivering the good for them? It's very, very important. It's not just saying, yes, people have to make sacrifice. What sacrifice is government going to make to the people to make their life much more better? It's very important. And so for everyone who is a Muslim, as a leader, he must ask himself that question, that I'm going to be accountable to Almighty Allah one day. And so what are you going to say when you are there? Did you make the life of people much more better? Or you make them much more poorer? Or you add to their burden? So that is the essence of the Eid al-Adha, that we have to relieve ourselves of burden. I just give you a narration, an example of if everybody has to kill the first son. How would that feel? So how many people will remain in that religion? It's just to tell you that you have this grace. Now extend this grace, let others share in that grace. And that's the essence of why you are going to kill a ram. And so government will also know that there's a responsibility to the people to make their life much more better than they have met it. So that is the one thing a leader must have at the back of his mind.
Okay, let me just ask you this one more, and I'm going to pass it around.
Okay.
If you want one thing that government should do for you or for the people now, what will it be?
No, honestly, for me, let's start the issue of power. If we can do that in this country, every other thing will fall in line. That's for me. Let government get priorities right about sustainable energy for the people. It's going to add value to our lives. And there will be less problem, less stress for everyone. Because people can be self-employed if there is energy, if there is power. You get it now. There will going to be a lot of small scale, that will spring up. That, for me, also reduces the problems of unemployment. If that's the only thing the government can fix for the people as part of sacrifice they need to make to Nigerians in relation to the significance of Eid al-Adha, let it be.
Okay, Mr. Onibo, what would it be for you?
Yeah, if you ask me, I'll tell you, I like the government there and those of us here to go along with the spirit of this festival, which is sacrifice. If you look at the word sacrifice, it means what you are entitled to and you are ready to let go. That means you are thinking outside the box, not about yourself now. You are thinking about the welfare of everybody. If I think like that, you think like that, it's like a box that contains something. We all want to go there to pick. With time, it will remain empty. But if I determined to want to go and contribute into the box, you want to go and contribute, there'll be so many there for everybody to share at the end of the day, or for some other people that cannot do. So I would rather want every one of us as individual, collective, government, or what have you, look at the word sacrifice. What is it that we want to sacrifice to let the other person have a very good life? Thank you.
Mr. Adam.
Actually, I want us to free ourselves from what I call the curse of oil. We should take food into serious significance. We should develop agriculture. By developing agriculture, we have food on our tables. The poor people will be free from, they will have better health.
Expression.
And then we have cash, foreign currency. And then we will now be able to disentangle ourselves from this curse of oil, because we are all crowded to eat this national cake. And it's it's constipating us. It gives us a lot of problems.
Wow. Thank you so much.
Wow.
Thank you for sharing your thoughts with us this morning. We've been having a chat with Mr. Kwazim Akinrete, who is the chairman, Lagos NUJ, and Mr. Nasir Onibo is a national missioner with NASFAT. What's the full meaning of NASFAT, please?
Come again?
NASFAT, the full meaning.
Oh, Nasrullah Al-Fatih Society.
Okay, so I wanted you to just do it because I'm not sure I was not going to murder you. And we have Mr. Kwazim Adam. He's from the Ahmadiyya Muslim Jamaat Nigeria, and he's an editor, The Truth newspapers. Thank you so much for being with us this morning.
Thank you.
So we take another break, and when we come
Yeah,
back,
so when we come back, this is very
it
important.
will still have the flavor
Yeah.
of Eid El Kabir when we come back.
Absolutely.